The 6 o'clock news starts right now.
And we begin tonight with what we have learned about this man. The man captured after San Antonio police say he shot 2 of their officers and injured a third. His name is Jesse Garcia. Officers tracked Garcia to an apartment south of downtown yesterday. That's where they say Garcia shot an officer and then sped off. Police chased Garcia to an apartment complex off of Highway 90, and that's where a second officer was shot. A third officer was injured by debris during that shooting. After an hours-long standoff, Garcia was arrested. Those 2 officers shot are in stable condition tonight. Our Garrett Berger joins us here in the studio this evening. Garrett, you have been looking into Garcia's past. You found out he was a wanted man long before yesterday.
Absolutely right, Myra. Now, he's got a criminal history that stretches back to his teens, and he's got convictions as an adult that include giving false identifying information to police, drug possession, and being a felon in possession of a firearm. And before yesterday, he was arrested and released twice in the past year, in September and then June, for a total of 5 charges, including some felonies, and $57,000 worth of bonds. He became a wanted man again earlier this month after his bondsman lost track of him. Some of his bonds were doubled and new warrants were issued, the same warrants that police were trying to serve on him yesterday. Now, it's that recent history that had the police chief tweeting this morning asking why wasn't he arrested? Why wasn't he in jail? Why weren't his bonds increased?
So you could see on social media today, a lot of people wondering the same thing. So you took some of those questions to the DA today. What did he have to say?
Well, it actually wasn't DA Joe Gonzalez himself. It was one of his top deputies. He said the DA wasn't there because they had a lot going on. He stressed that judges are the ones who set people's bonds, not the prosecutor's office. But he admitted they could have asked for Garcia's September bonds to be raised or even temporarily revoked after he was arrested again back in June. Now, the deputy didn't have a clear answer why the prosecutors didn't do that, nor did he have one for why the DA's office still has not indicted Garcia on those September charges yet, even though we're now 11 months later. Now, it seems unlikely in any case that he'll be getting out anytime soon. Between yesterday's shootings and the warrants, Garcia would have to put up more than $4.3 million in bonds in order to be released. Myra?
Garrett, thank you. So why did that suspect, Jesse Garcia, go to the Westwood Plaza apartments yesterday? In a Facebook post today, San Antonio police said that Garcia had, quote, acquaintances there. Our Camelia Juarez went back to those apartments today to talk to residents about what they encountered last night.
It's been a little more than 24 hours since San Antonio police swarmed the Westwood Plaza apartments to locate Jesse Garcia, the man accused of shooting at officers. I spoke to one man who did not want to go on camera, but he told me that Garcia was a familiar face at the complex.
We've done some odd jobs and stuff together, and yeah, I mean, he hangs out over here, and, you know, within this little apartment area.
Unfortunately for residents there, crime is all too common. We reached out to San Antonio police to find out how many times they've been called to the Westwood apartments. Their numbers show that over the past year, there have been over 400 calls to the complex. Officers were out there nearly every other day.
Once again, I'm not surprised. I mean, the area really says everything, you know?
Many of the calls are listed under disturbance, which is a low priority call. But there were several calls for theft, burglary, and narcotics. Jose Garcia, who lives at the apartment complex, says police presence is not unusual, but last night's shooting scared him.
I felt it in my chest. It was so loud. I was like, oh my God. And, you know, we're in this neighborhood, kind of used to it, but it was really close.
We have reached out to the apartment complex manager about what can be done to help the people living there, and we're still waiting to hear a call back. We've also reached out to District 6 Councilwoman Melissa Cabello Havdra to see what can be done. Camelia Juarez, KSAT 12 News.
A man shot by an employee at a West Side body shop today, and investigators are trying to figure out exactly why. Police say around 1:30 this afternoon, that man went into that body shop at Southwest 36th Street and Old Highway 90, damaged some vehicles while he was there. He was told to leave. That's when he went to a nearby restaurant and caused some kind of disturbance there. He then went back to that body shop where he and an employee got into a fight. That employee shot the man in the leg. It's unclear if anybody will be facing charges here, and police are investigating why that man showed up to the body shop in the first place. A Bexar County jury is deliberating the fate of a man who pleaded guilty to killing his brother-in-law outside of a Northside nail salon. This morning, that jury heard from attorneys representing the state and KSAT win one final time. Those closing arguments took about 2 hours. Prosecutors want the jury to give Wynn the maximum punishment. Wynn's attorney, though, is asking the jury to be lenient.
The morning after your verdict, you need to be able to look in the mirror and confirm to yourself, I made the right decision for the right reasons.
Wynn faces 5 years to life in prison. We'll let you know when that verdict comes in. Hays County deputies are looking for a missing 16-year-old girl. Melanie Perez's family says she was last seen at their home in Kyle on August 17th. Deputies say she could be with a friend that lives in Newland, southeast of Kyle. If you have any information, call the Hays County Sheriff's Office. That number is 512-393-2125. It's also on KSAT.com. Now to a major public health concern. The CDC says for kids ages 14 to 18 years old, suicide is now the third leading cause of death. The mother of a Kirby middle schooler who took his own life tells Daniela Ibarra that school systems need to do more.
Etched into Shantina Harris's forearm is a final heartbeat.
We put a little bit of his ashes in the ink.
The ashes belong to her 14-year-old son, Jordan.
He always wanted to put a smile on somebody's face.
2 months ago, Harris lost Jordan to suicide.
There was no red flags. He didn't talk to me.
He was just days away from finishing 8th grade at Kirby Middle School. Harris says Jordan, who struggled with his mental health, was bullied.
He chose to deal with this on his own instead of coming to me. Those are demons I now have to deal with on a daily.
Harris knows she isn't the only parent bearing this pain.
We need better communication between the school systems, between the mental health system.
We can't lose another child. We can't lose children.
Judson ISD School Board Trustee Jose Macias says it's why he created a task force. It's meant to address the emotional and social well-being of students.
We can mourn, we can feel that loss, but going forward, we also have to still look to support students and ensure that we're meeting their needs socially and emotionally.
As an organ donor, Jordan has already saved lives. His mom hopes his heart continues to beat through the change she's creating.
I'm going to continue to push this issue, and I'm going to continue to demand.
Both Harris and Macias will be at Judson High School this weekend having a more in-depth discussion on how the district can do more. For more information, go to KSAT.com. Reporting in Kirby.
That was Daniela Ibarra reporting. Let's take a look outside with traffic right now. Loop 410 at Blanco. You can see it's a little slow going, but no real issues, no major backups in either direction from this view this evening. Meantime, look outside with live cam. A few clouds, but not hardly what we need to keep us out of these triple digits, Adam.
No, Myra, we even have a few showers out there popping up in the hill country. That's where we have a few little isolated downpours, not much to it. And I'm keeping the big view here just to show you that the vast majority of us are dry, and it's unlikely we'll have many, if any, delays to high school football games this evening. This is all moving into Bandera County and dotted around parts of Kerr County. Don't get me wrong, it's nice to see something on the radar, but this is not going to even put a little dent in the drought and agriculturally insignificant. A few showers will pop up here and there through 8:30 p.m. Then we'll clear out. It's just going to be another sticky, hot night. Actually, a record-breaking day today, more record heat this weekend, and then a chance of rain, a better chance of rain than what you see here on the radar. We'll talk about it in a few minutes.
All right, thanks, Adam. We'll see you then. We are just a few minutes away from the first game of this year's KSAT Pigskin Classic. Our John Paul Barajas is at the KSAT Pigskin Classic official tailgate party at Smoke Barbecue, just around the corner from the Alamo Dome. JP, looks like you've got a crowd behind you, and they are ready for some high school football.
Oh, Myra, they're more than ready. Hey, guys, don't we love Texas high school football? All right, settle down. I've never had that much power in my life. Hey, DJ!
Live from Smoke, Texas downtown, the KSAT Pigskin Classic. If you love Texas football, make some noise!
I think they love Texas high school football. But before the game, we have another game. We're going to have a chant battle real quick. All right. First, Antonian, let's hear it. How loud can you guys get? Hey, red. All right, one more. All right. Holy Cross, let's hear it. If you're not at the tailgate, you better be at the Alamo Dome. I don't know what else you would want to be doing tonight. And if you're not coming out tonight, come out Saturday. We're going to toss it back out to you guys. We got a game we got to go watch.
John Paul knows how to host a pep rally. Okay, the first of our 4 games kicks off in the Alamo Dome in just under an hour. Then tomorrow is the big triple header. Tickets for all 4 games still available. Scan this QR code you see right here on your screen to get all our ticket options. All the games are inside the Alamo Dome. The battle over those border buoys, not over yet. Texas leaders say they're necessary to stop illegal immigration, but the DOJ says those barriers weren't allowed to be installed in the first place. Everything we know about this legal fight, next on the News at 6. Here's a look at what's coming your way on the Night Beat tonight. The loss of 2 people from New Braunfels who died in a plane crash in Wisconsin, still weighing heavy on their friends and family. Tonight, how the mentors of one of the victims hopes to turn his legacy into an opportunity for students for years to come. That and more tonight on the Night Beat. A high-stakes hearing in Austin over the fate of those buoys placed in the Rio Grande by the state of Texas. Jonathan Cotto with the passionate voices that clashed over that big issue.
At a hearing on Tuesday, the state of Texas defending the buoys along the Rio Grande.
The hearing took place because the Department of Justice got notified that these buoys were breaking international water rules, and the state of Texas did not take the proper precaution in accessing the permits they required to install these buoys.
The hearing comes after the Department of Justice filed a lawsuit against Texas in July over the installation of this floating barrier in Eagle Pass.
The state had their lawyers trying to discredit the Department of Justice argument, saying that they didn't require a permit, that these weren't navigable waters.
During a press conference this week and a day before the hearing, Governor Abbott said the marine barrier had been moved into the U.S. portion of the Rio Grande, and that in regard to treaties, buoys are listed as a permissible device.
That's where the judge gets to make that decision, right? That's why we have the court systems, to make sure that people are accountable and that nobody is above the law.
On Friday, a federal judge will decide if the state gets to keep the buoys on the Rio Grande or if the barriers are a treaty violation impacting relations with Mexico.
We are hopeful that we hear a favorable consensus from the judge, but we know that the Department of Justice needs to do more to protect the civil rights of not only asylum seekers, but also Texas residents when it comes to the unconstitutional use of Operation Lone Star.
Jonathan Cotto, KSAT 12 News.
Let's turn to the weather now, and it's not much, but it's something. There are some people out there, Adam Caskey, seeing a little bit of rain this evening.
Yeah, and you know what's going to be raining this evening, Myra?
Oh, boy. Okay, a lot of people are going to see that.
Yeah, it's going to be raining some T-shirts and all day tomorrow at the KSAT Pigskin Classic. Check out the new paint job on this beauty.
And we've all seen the videos of you stuffing those T-shirts down in there.
And we've seen your side eye.
Yeah,
I got your side eye.
Listen.
Mission accomplished.
That's right.
All right, let's get right to it and look at the radar. We have a few isolated downpours on the radar screen at the moment. Not a whole lot to talk about. I wish we had more, but unfortunately just very isolated and mainly around Kerr County, northern Bandera County. Not much to these, just a quick splash and dash. Brief bit of lightning and thunder with it as well, so that will probably scare some folks inside if they're outdoor, say, practicing before football. This is just northeast of Kerrville by a few miles. But keep in mind, this isn't going to last very long. I don't anticipate many, if any, delays to the football games this evening, just that off chance. Slightly better coverage as you get north, you get up along the Colorado River and between Brady and Lampasas and closer to Buchanan Lake Reservoir and Burnett. Slightly better showers there, but around here we are mainly dry and most of us will be dry. Tomorrow a 10% chance, that's mostly in the hill country. Sunday 20% chance, that's generally hill country as well. But Monday and Tuesday we're up to 30%. And that's for all of us because of a weak cold front that's going to be dropping in. But I do want to point out we may be increasing one of these days, and if we do, it'd probably be Monday. We're trying to fine-tune the timing of that weak front. Let's talk heat. 58 days, it just disappeared. 58 100-degree days. It's like it's fighting against us because it knows we'll be 59 tomorrow, but we've had 58 so far this year. We'll tie the record tomorrow and then exceed it on Sunday. We broke a record today of 104, the record being 102. 103 right now in Stinson Airport, Castroville 104, New Braunfels 105, Comfort 95. If you're headed out to those football games, stay hydrated. And if you're doing any physical activity out there, whether you're on the field or off the field, you'll be sweating. Be sure to replenish your electrolytes as well, the salt and sugar in your body. Cotulla's 101. And Kerrville right now at 96, a little bit of an outflow possible from that nearby storm. You look at our high temperatures today across the state, still intense heat. Dallas 108 for the high temperature today, and that's going to obviously impact our electrical grid. ERCOT supply and demand this evening getting pretty close. It's going to be a close call. Saturday and Sunday, another close call during our peak demand time around 7 p.m. Good reminder. Conserve where and when possible, especially in the late afternoon and early evening. Tomorrow, more of the same heat. Dallas 108, 105 Austin. Here in San Antonio, 103 will be 101 in Carrizo Springs, Canyon Lake 103, and Seguin checking in about 103 tomorrow afternoon. Really just more of the same. And by the way, that 103 in San Antonio would be a record high temperature for the day. Looking at the weekend, a lot of sunshine, just a little extra cloud cover on Sunday, but still hot on Sunday, about a degree or two warmer. We'll be up to 104, a little bit of compressional warming out ahead of that weak cold front that heads our way. And then notice how we drop to 97 by Monday and Tuesday. That's a direct result of those slightly better rain chances. And we'll be fine-tuning that rain forecast, so check back for updates. Next half hour, 6:45, update on the tropics and what's headed into the Gulf.
All right, thank you, Adam. Let's turn to sports now with Mary Robinger, and you guys said it the best last night. Last night was sort of the appetizer for high school football. Tonight is a full meal of games.
Not even just that, like the most exciting games, the Pigskin Classic and beyond. So we have a lot for you. And our first road trip stop brings us to Lytle, where the Pirates football program is trying to flip its script under new leadership. Plus, Dak Prescott compares last year to this year as the Cowboys season opener nears. It's almost time for all of the action under the Friday night lights. You're looking at Lenhoff Stadium, the site of our big game between the top two teams in our KSAT 12's top 12 6A 5A rankings, the Steel Knights and Brennan Bears. Things just getting started. Now, the week one of the high school football season means a clean slate for teams with aspirations of winning a state title. A new beginning was much needed at Lytle High School, one of our BGC road trip stops. The Pirate football program is undergoing a big change with a new head coach who is committed to restoring a positive culture built on love and player-led leadership. The Mike Trevino era is officially underway at Lytle High School, and the first-year head coach is taking it upon himself to bring back what the Pirates have been missing
for so long. In the last 2 seasons, the Pirates have only accumulated 1 win, and it was last year that the team's glaring internal challenges became evident.
I remember the Cthulhu game so vividly, like it was just a lot of disciplinary things that we messed up in, and we only lost 6-0, and like it was just hard because like I wanted to make the playoffs. I want to keep on playing football because I love football.
More important than winning football games, Trevino is focused on empowering his players so they can control their own destiny. Trevino's first head coaching gig was with the Lytle softball team, and it prepared him for this very challenge.
Coaching females really changed my life, and it kind of projected me and kind of gave me a spark on how to sustain and build a culture. You know, coaching females allowed me to create an approach of love first and leadership first.
Now the question is if Lytle's new leadership will translate to wins and give them a chance to compete for a title.
It definitely feels a lot stronger. We're definitely coming more together, and it makes me feel better. So I know that they have my back and I have their back.
The Pirates are only scheduled to play on their home turf 3 times this year. The first is tonight against an unfamiliar opponent in Carrizo Springs.
The other stop in our BGC road trip continues down I-35. Lytle, Natalia, and Divine. Highlights from all 3 games and beyond tonight. The must-watch high school football action doesn't stop there. At 6:45, our broadcast begins for Game 1 of the KSAT Pigskin Classic from the Alamo Dome with Antonian facing Holy Cross. Kickoff is at 7, and tomorrow is our triple header, Southside versus Somerset, Jeff versus Uvalde, and we cap it off with O'Connor and Brandeis.
Football coverage brought to you by Davis Law Firm.
We're in a much better place than we were right now than we were at this time last year, just with the installation, just with the details of everything. Not only that for myself, getting all the reps, not having to miss time, and then just really practicing against our guys.
The Cowboys' regular season begins in 16 days, and Dak Prescott expressing his confidence in the team's preparations up to this point. Dallas trying to overcome the misfortunes of last year's opener, where the QB suffered an injury and Dallas lost 19-3. And breaking news, Adam Schefter tweets that the Cowboys receive the 49ers' former number 3 overall pick Trey Lance for a mid-round pick. This means more depth behind Dak Prescott, and of course, to the tune of Prescott being injured last year, Myra, you have a great option in Trey Lance, who unfortunately was beat out by Sam Darnold with the 49ers for the backup spot behind Brock Purdy.
All right, so we got breaking Cowboys news.
Oh, yeah.
At 6 o'clock. Thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
We're still talking high school football here, though. Uvalde High School kicking off their season in the KSAT Pigskin Classic tomorrow. Well, coming up, we go behind the scenes with an ABC News crew that followed their 2022 football team. See some of the special moments they captured next here on the News at 6. The first game in this weekend's KSAT Pigskin Classic now just minutes away, but tomorrow Uvalde High School will face off against Jefferson to kick off their season. ABC News kept a crew in Uvalde for an entire year following the tragedy at Robb Elementary. That crew got to follow the Uvalde football team for the entire season in 2022 to get a look at how the team was front and center with helping Uvalde heal. Sports producer Daniel Villanueva sat down with one of their producers to get their story. You can see more of that story live tomorrow during our pregame show following Game 1 with Somerset and Southside. Wells Fargo dealing with 2 new complaints from regulators and customers. The Securities and Exchange Commission is accusing the bank of overcharging almost 11,000 investment advisory accounts. It says Wells Fargo billed about $27 million in extra fees because of some incorrect data. The bank is not admitting or denying the issue, but it is paying a penalty and says it's reimbursed those affected customers. This comes a day after some Wells Fargo customers reported they couldn't use their credit cards or the Zelle app. The company has been working to fix those problems. Updated COVID-19 vaccines will likely hit drugstores next month. The FDA is expected to okay the updated vaccine here in the coming weeks. After that, an advisory committee from the CDC will make their own recommendation, and then the vaccine can be administered. Biden administration officials say that new vaccine will have been tweaked to fight the strains of circulating COVID variants that increased cases around the country recently. Hundreds of people are still unaccounted for in Maui after those devastating wildfires. Meanwhile, local officials there are already filing a lawsuit against Hawaiian Electric. As ABC's Rena Roy explains, that lawsuit alleges the deadly disaster could have been avoided.
Hundreds of people in Maui County are still unaccounted for. Officials now releasing their names in hopes of tracking them down.
It can and will cause pain for some folks that are affected by this. This is not an easy thing to do, but we want to make sure that we are doing everything we can possibly to make this investigation the most complete, thorough to date.
So many still trying to wrap their heads around the catastrophic loss.
We're all survivors of this tragedy, but there's still so many people missing. So the process is ongoing, and so is the grief.
All that's left of Susie Richter's home in Lahaina is a burnt-out shell. At least 114 people confirmed dead. Entire areas completely destroyed. Maui County filing a lawsuit against energy firm Hawaiian Electric, which provides electricity to 95% of the state, accusing the company of failing to turn off electric equipment before those deadly wildfires started on the island. The lawsuit claiming the widespread destruction could have been avoided if electricity to the power lines had been cut during the dry conditions and high winds that preceded the inferno. The suit says the company knew the high winds would topple power poles, knock down power lines, and ignite vegetation. In a press conference a week after the fire, an electric company representative said that unlike California, Hawaii does not have a shutoff program, saying they are controversial and not universally accepted. Firefighters who battled the blaze recalling the intense conditions.
One of the large gusts was able to take the line and me and knock me into a tree. I'm a fairly big guy.
Rena Roy, ABC News, New York.
Hawaiian Electric has released a statement saying, quote, "Our primary focus in the wake of this unimaginable tragedy has been to do everything we can to support not just the people of Maui, but also Maui County." The company added they are very disappointed that the county chose this path while the investigation is still unfolding. We'll be right back.